guys, Show here. Today we've got a bit of a work limbering up video. So if you are either A worker, someone who has quite a sedentary job and you want to get up, get moving, get some blood circulation happening, or B, if you're a tradie or labourer of some sort and you really like to be able to limber up before work, but when you're doing the pre-start or something like that at the start of your day, you can't really get down on the ground and stretch because it's usually a bit gross. So here is a bunch of stretches, dynamic stretches that you can do. Ideally, you want to be doing dynamic moving stuff instead of your like really boring falling asleep. These ones, you want to warm things up as much as possible to help prevent injury and decrease the chance of RSI in the workplace. So to begin, we'll do a couple of little neck circles, and you can do them in semicircles or full circles if your neck feels comfortable with that. You might feel some cracking, some popping, and then let's change directions, going as slowly as you feel like you need. And then finish up on that last one. And let's jump into some shoulder rolls. So bringing those arms up and around as big as they can get. And then as you're doing this, you may start to add some movement into your elbows. And then move those arms. And then let's change directions. Might be a little bit head hurty, might be a bit creaky in the shoulders, that's fine. Creaking in the joints is fine as long as it's not painful. And then slowly make those circles just a little bit smaller until it's more elbows. And then just the shoulders again. Alright, let's do some snow angles. I don't know what else to call this one. So standing, it's kind of like the top half of a star jump. Really trying to warm the shoulders up. We don't want any shoulder injuries from work today. Alright, last one. And then let's change it so that we're standing still. Our hips aren't moving, but we're bringing our arms, like marching arms. As you're walking, you're using, you don't realize this is quite exaggerated, but you don't realize while you're walking that you're using your thoracic back. So we'll keep that nice movement in the thoracic back, because if you lose movement in your thoracic back, your lower back starts to kick in, which is where you start to have lower back problems because it's designed for stability, not really mobility. If you want to, you can add some circles going in opposite directions with this one. And then change directions. Alright, drop those arms. Let's bring your hands out in front of you with your elbows nice and parallel to the floor. And we'll add a little bit of a twist, keeping your hips straight. And you're turning as far to the right as you can. And then as far to the left as you can. Let's go to the right for 3, 2, 1. Back to the center. And to the left for 3, 2, 1. Back to center, warming up those lats. To the right. And then the left. All right, now let's add some movement into the hips as we're reaching across or back. Do one more on each side. And the next one's going to look a little bit weird, but we're doing a standing cat-cow kind of variation. So you'll arch your back and look down, curl your shoulders in, and then bring your back the other way, looking up at the sky, trying to tuck your elbows behind your back. And you're just moving through some thoracic movement. I don't know if you do scapular push-ups or any sort of movement in that back for strengthening the muscles on the posterior chain, but this is super helpful for helping to prevent anything going on in the back. We definitely want to look after our spine. Doesn't matter if you haven't got it, if you're feeling goofy and you're like, am I doing this right? Just moving is what matters. Alright, and then shake it out. Let's start to incorporate the lower body now. So we're going to do a little bit of a squat, whatever feels comfortable for you. Have your legs out as wide as you need to go. And then as you stand up, you're going to reach up and over to the right with your left hand. Squatting back down and then up and over, trying not to fall over as you're doing this one. And you can make this one as slow as you need or as dynamic as you want, depending on where things are feeling for you. Great for the ankles, the knees, the hips, the side body. Do one more on each side. Last one. And then you can come back. Let's do some little wrist circles. And then back the other way. You can extend and flex them. Flex and extend them even. Don't need any carpal tunnel-y sort of stuff today. Let's not forget about the wrists. All right, we're going to do exactly the same thing, but with the ankles now. So balancing on one leg, doing little ankle circles. It's going to be tricky if you're in steel caps, but just doing the best that you can. And then going in the opposite direction. Maybe flexing and pointing those toes. If you're in boots all day, it can really limit the ankle mobility, which then starts to affect things up the chain, like the calves, the knees, the hips. Changing legs. So ankle circles. You might hear some creaking. That's fine, it's a joint. Joints creak when they don't move very much. Other way. Or when they don't move often, I should say. Joints get creaky. And then pointing and flexing. Bringing that leg back down. All right. I've got star lunges written down. I have no idea what that means. So instead, let's do some ninja squats. You're going to squat to one side, and you can either stay standing up like this, if you would like. Adding a little bit of lateral movement into the legs. Or you can come down with your hands on the ground if the ground is acceptable for that. Back up and then down. Back up and then down. Obviously working in with the limitations of your work clothes and work gear. And then if you really want to challenge yourself eventually, you can add that movement in without using your hands. Do one more on each side. And come back up to the center. keep those legs out nice and wide. Star lunges. We're going to reach the right hand across to the opposite foot. That may look like the knee, the calf, or the ankle, and your left hand is going to come up towards the sky. And then we'll twist. So it's your left hand towards your right foot, your right hand up towards the sky. And then let's cycle between that at your own pace, just adding a little bit of movement. Twisting the back, stretching the hamstrings, but in a dynamic way still. Do one more on each side. And then you can relax your hands down and slowly come back up to standing. All right, let's check out the glutes, back of the legs, sciatic-ish sort of stuff. So, option to bring your hands to a chair or a desk or something in front of you, or on your knees, just above your knees, and you're going to alternate straightening one leg and bending the other one for some elephant walks. This is a bit of a nerve flossing thing. Excellent if you've got a history of sciatic sort of problems. And it's not about being as quick as possible. You want to feel going down your straight leg like a really weird nervy kind of sensation, all the way down into the bottom of the foot. If you're not feeling it, you may need to play around with the hinge in your hips, so possibly bending forward more. And it's not about touching the toes. That just turns it into a bit of a muscle stretch, not a nerve floss. Also, we don't need to show off if we can touch our toes. Go you, you're pretty awesome, but that's not what it's about. One more on each side. And then, let's come back up. I've got another dynamic little one for the back of the legs called Feed the Chickens. If you've played sports, you probably know what this one is. You're basically going through a general walk, but as you're walking, each step is going to bring you leaning forward to sweep the ground. I think it's like, feeding the chickens. Doesn't matter what variation you do with your arms. You can lift your toes up if your boots allow, or you can keep the feet flat on the ground. Lifting the toes up will add more of a calf element into it. Just playing around with what works for you. All right, and then last two things we've got going on. Some balance stuff. Balance is really important for the glutes. Also, a huge number of our population are falls risks once they hit a certain age. So doing a bit of regular balance work, excellent. Great for the muscles in your ankles as well. So standing on your left foot, bring your hands to your hips or the wall if you need to, and do some circles with that right knee. Doing a little bit of a open the gate kind of variation. Your hip might creak, and you're just trying to make your circle as big as possible. One more. And then let's close that gate, going back in the other direction. Bit clunky. One more. Placing that right foot down, picking up your left one, trying not to fall over in the process, and then opening the gate. One more here. Closing the gate. This side is a struggle compared to the other one. It's pretty common for there to be a less good side. One more. And then for our last stretch, we're going to do a bit of a active pigeon sort of thing. So you can bring your ankle up on your knee and then lean back into it for a little bit of a glute stretch. Standing back up, we're still adding a little bit of that balance dynamic. Leaning down, standing back up, down. Do one more on this leg. And back up. Switch legs, so you've got your right leg down. Now, if this is super helpful for you, I'm doing in-person corporate yoga classes, as well as online desk exercise classes. Well, the talking and the moving at the same time is tricky. Yeah, so online desk exercise classes, which is like 20-minute online stuff for people at the desk to help get them moving. Because really, movement is medicine. Great job, guys. You should be feeling pretty warm right now. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope this was helpful. Bye.